I'm about to share something that I've never shared publicly. Excuse me if I, get emotional telling any parts of the story. Felt like I wasn't worthy of this relationship. So, and because of that, I ended up putting up with some bullshit. My sharing my story may give you encouragement to actually seek help. Yeah, today we're going to talk about gaslighting. What is gaslighting? If you feel like you are experiencing gaslighting, then what to do about it? I received this question from a subscriber, and I want to thank her very much so for the question and taking the time to watch my videos. If you have seen my previous videos, I have shared that I was married to a narcissist for 12 years. I just used to be in that marriage and be like, is it me? Am I the problem? Is this normal? I had no idea that there was actually a definition to the type of person I was married to, and then another definition and a word to the type of things that I was experiencing in this marriage. So, her question I'm not going to read her question, but I will say she very much so detailed her situation. And baby girl, I want to thank you for your question. And I want to tell you that what you are experiencing is gaslighting. So I'm going to use this as an opportunity to educate other folks as to what is gaslighting. And I'm going to share my personal experience because sometimes people could share a definition and you don't even know what that definition looks like in real life. I'm going to share a couple of personal stories of mine so you can see if that is what you are experiencing. Gaslighting is a form of emotional abuse, and you will be asking yourself the questions all the time. And baby girl, and I'm not going to say your name, but you were even asking yourself these questions in your email to me. Is it me? Is it me? Am I crazy? No, I'm not crazy. No, you're not crazy. So, gaslighting will have you doubting yourself. Gaslighting is a form of manipulation that typically a narcissist or a person would use on you. Is to create self-doubt, like that's not what you saw, that's not what you're thinking, that's not what I was doing. A gaslighter will challenge even your memories, like they will challenge what you think that you remember, like you didn't remember it well. How they gonna sit here and tell you what's in your memories? But they will challenge it because they will challenge events, people, places, things, and make you think like you didn't see what you saw, nor do you thinking clearly. Gaslighters will consistently and persistently deny actual facts. It's never them. No, you misconstrued what you thought you saw. And if you have ever been in that situation, y'all, you have been gaslit. Y'all, if gaslit ain't a term, it's a term on today's show. Okay. I'm going to share a couple of examples of some of the things that I experienced in my marriage when I was gaslighted, because I could sit here and tell you many times I didn't know what it was. I used to second guess all the time, like, is what? But before I give you a couple examples, let me just give you a backstory. And I'm about to share something that I've never shared publicly, and now I'm gonna just share it for my YouTube viewers. But I will say that I'm a pretty private person. However, that I know that there's a lot of people out here that are living and suffering in silence, and you shouldn't be living like that. You never know what a person is going through. And because of that, my sharing my story may give you encouragement to actually seek help, so that you don't have to suffer in silence. Because again, nobody should be suffering in silence. I was married 12 years. I came into my marriage already having two kids. I today have three sons and they're all grown, but I came into the marriage of two kids of my own. I had my oldest son when I was in college. I was a full-time college student. I was on welfare. I was WIC, Section 8, you name it, I had it. But I had to do what I had to do to graduate college. And I did graduate, like I said, on time, with a degree in English and animal science. Once I graduated college, this person and I had a second child. So here I was at the age of 24. Yep, 24, and I had two little kids. This person and we thought we were going to get married, and I wanted to marry him. And I could sit here and tell you that when I was 22, 23, 24, I was very young and I was very dumb and I made a whole lot of mistakes, even in this relationship, that I wish I could have done better. This person I loved very, very much so. Ended up being murdered when my kids were 6 and 3. We had a great relationship. We really did. And he was such a great father. He was a wonderful person, great family man. We had a lot of fun. We had a lot of fun. Excuse me if I, get emotional telling any parts of the story. Um, When he was murdered, I remember thinking, wow, the only other person who loved these kids as much as me is gone. And it was just going to be me raising these kids all by myself. The the person I did end up marrying was my friend. He was my good friend. And he's actually my frat brother. And he was a really good person to me. And then we, eventually started dating, and we didn't date very long. And he married me. And I think a part of why he married me, because here I was with two little kids, and he really liked the kids. He ended up adopting the two kids. And we got married, and we stayed married for 12 years. I think a part of me at that time, I got married when I was 28 years old. I lost my ex when I was 26, 27 years old. I ended up getting married at 28. So it was just a year later. I ended up marrying a man who I honestly put on a pedestal. And I don't know if anybody can relate to that. But I think a part of me, as I got this young lady's question, I started reflecting on my, when was I experiencing some of the things that she's experiencing now? And I could sit here and tell you the person you see before you now, over 20 years later, is definitely not the person that I was 20, 25, 30 years ago. Thank God for growth. Thank the universe for growth. And the one who sent me this question, you're going to experience your growth cycle as well. I think a part of me honestly felt like I was really lucky and blessed that somebody would marry me with two little kids, even though I knew that I'm educated myself. I'm a grinder myself. I make good money myself back when I was younger, but I knew that I had two little kids, and my friends didn't have two little kids. Not my college friends. The friends I went to high school did, but none of the friends I went to college with, they were out enjoying their best lives. And here I was 24 with two kids, 24, 25, 26. And then at 28 years old, this man who was well put together, tall, dark, and kind of handsome, educated, great career, no kids that I knew of. That's another story. I ain't know he had kids. But either way, I think a part of me, y'all, felt like I wasn't worthy of this relationship. So, and because of that, I ended up putting up with some bullshit. I ended up putting up with some BS that, y'all, I would have never put up with before. I honestly would have never put up before. But because I put this man on this pedestal, I ended up putting up with a lot. And that includes his narcissistic behavior and him gaslighting me. So let's get down to some examples. I just felt like I had to share that story because the person I'm with today, he's like, I don't understand how you stayed so long in that relationship, because I'm very, I'm well put together. You just don't know what goes on behind closed doors. That's why I'm like, save your judgments, because you don't know what somebody's experiencing. You don't know how you would handle it until if you're ever in that situation. So y'all just try to be mindful of your judgments that you put on other people. But my partner today says, I don't know how you stay so long in a marriage, because we've had challenges, not me and my partner right now, but my ex-husband, we've had many, many challenges, even after since we divorced 10 years ago. If I had to do it all over again, would I have stayed that long? No. But again, I did not think I was worthy. I didn't. You who asked this question, I want you to look at yourself, or anybody who's in that situation who thinks that you may not be worthy of a relationship or of a person. It's only because you're putting this person on a pedestal. And I'm gonna tell you right now, nobody deserves to be on a pedestal. Put your damn self on a pedestal. Do you hear me? Put yourself on a pedestal. When I got married, we, before right before we got married, we bought this really big house. So we had already lived together when we got married. Right before we got married, he reveals to me that he has some secret child hidden in the closet, y'all. I didn't know nothing. We were friends. I didn't know anything about no children. Like, I had no idea that this man he had a child. And believe it or not, I still married him. I still married him, even though it was a surprise child that came out the closet. Y'all still married him. See, save your judgments. Save your judgments. Yes, I did. Mm. You ever look back at a relationship, be like, God darn, the writing was all over the wall in red ink, red lipstick, purple lip gloss. Yes, it was. Yes, it was. I still married him again, because not that I had low self esteem. I want to be very clear. I've never had low self esteem. I just like, you know what? Here's my opportunity to get married. The man I was going to marry was gone. God took him from us. He's gone. And I was like, you know what? But this man wants to marry me. And don't get me wrong, I loved my ex-husband. When I married him, I loved him. But I saw a lot of red flags before I said I do. And that's why my coaching comes from my coaching doesn't just come from your experiences or my education. My coaching comes from my experiences, and I've been through a lot. If you watch some of my other videos, you will see that I actually have gone through a lot, and this is a story again that I've not shared publicly. Um, Either way, get back to some examples. When I married my ex-husband, I had just discovered that he had a child down south. He wanted to go see his child, and I would never stop a man from going to see their children. I think if a man has children with somebody else, please be a dad. Please encourage the relationship. So he will go down to see his children, his child with his ex girlfriend. When he would go visit her, he would stay at the baby mama's house. And I would bring it up and be like, "Are you sure that, huh? Why would you stay at her house? Why can't you stay at a hotel?" He would twist it and say, "Why would I stay at a hotel? My daughter lives there. I should just be able to stay at the house. You're tripping, V. You're tripping." And I'd be like, "Am I tripping? No, I'm not tripping. No, 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 no. Why would you have to go visit your daughter and stay at the girl's house?" He did that to me several times until eventually he just said, "You know what? I don't even want to hear your mouth anymore." So eventually, allegedly, he got a hotel room. I don't know if he ever did or not. How was I supposed to know? This is before GPS tracking. This is before then. And we're talking over 20, this was over 20 years ago. Yeah, I look back at that and I mean, I don't even like to repeat that story, but and I don't think I've ever really shared that story with anybody. Yeah, I could think of a million examples of when he used to gaslight me all the time. I was sitting here over the last couple of days trying to evaluate, like, why did I stay so damn long? He was so good at manipulating me. He was so good at it. Okay. And it happens. So the person who asked me this question, girl, I'm going to tell you right now, you are being manipulated. And I don't even know all of your story. Sometimes people are so good at manipulating you, y'all, you don't even realize you're getting manipulated. You don't. You just be like, okay, well, it's better than being single. It's better than being beaten. It's better than being whatever. No, it's not. Being manipulated is a form of abuse. Staying too long in a wrong relationship will mean that you have to work harder once you get out of that relationship. So you're going to have to work harder to become more mentally healthy, because when you're with somebody who's constantly gaslighting you, it is messing up your mental health. There's no way that it's not. You're in a relationship where somebody has you questioning everything. And I'm not talking about those who have anxious attachment styles. I'm telling you right now, that's why it's so important. If you have an anxious attachment style, everything is a trigger for you. A lot of things trigger you. So just imagine you couple that with getting in a relationship with somebody who's a narcissist, somebody who's gaslighting you, somebody who's causing more emotional damage. Y'all, when you get out of that relationship, you're going to be a hot mess. If you have an anxious attachment style, especially because an avoidant be like, something, I want emotionally vested anyway in that mess. This is before I became an avoidant. All of the things that I went through caused me to really fear intimacy to the point where I said, you know what? I'm not going to get close to anybody anymore, because that was a train wreck. It was a train wreck and a half. And trust and believe, I wouldn't wish it on anybody. If you're in a relationship and you feel that you're being gaslighted, y'all, the only thing you can do is, one, if you're in a conversation and you're being actively gaslighted in the conversation, y'all, pause the conversation, stop it. You're not winning that conversation. You're not going to prove to them that you're right. You're not. And I don't think a lot of times they're intentionally trying to one up you in a conversation. I really think mentally they believe internally that they are always right. And so no matter what you say out of your mouth, you're not going to win. So save your breath. they're not going to see your side. If I did the video about being married to a narcissist, and I can sit here and tell you, it is a common tool. Gaslighting is a common tool that a narcissist will use. You're not going to win the conversation. You can write them a Dear John letter. You can write them a book complete with flow charts, pictures, diagrams, 5.2, everything. You're not going to win this conversation. You're not going to have them see your side. It's not going to happen. It is the most frustrating thing in the world. Trust me, because I've done that. I've written letters. Y'all, I have put things out there. I have recorded videos back in the day. I was doing all kinds of things. If this man could just see my point, then he will understand. He never saw my point. He never understood. Not one time. Not one time. We're talking 12 years. 12 years of me trying to get somebody to see my point, and it never happened. You're messing up your emotional well-being by staying too long. You will stress yourself out. Your hair may fall out. I've been through that. Your confidence will go down. Your confidence in making good decisions, all of that will start to go down, down, down. You will begin to second guess everything that comes across your plate. That relationship is either going to tear you down, break you down until you've had enough that you can't do this anymore, or that person is going to realize that you can no longer be manipulated, and they're going to move on from you to go off to somebody else who they can manipulate. Manipulation is key. If you put yourself in a position you can no longer be manipulated, then they're just going to find somebody else, another victim who they can manipulate. They come across as very charming, y'all. Oh, trust and believe. They're very charming people. Eventually, you have to get to a point where you choose yourself. I don't want anybody to get to the point to where they feel like they're just going to break down. I am going to break down, and I'm going to have a mental breakdown because of this. Y'all, if you get to that point that you feel like you either I'm, I'm going to lose I'm going to lose my stop. Please tell yourself it ain't worth it. This person isn't worth it. You have to start pouring into yourself. When I say that, you have to start loving on yourself. You have to get emotional support. You really do. You have to work on you. I don't want people to come out of a relationship and be damaged. Not every relationship is going to last forever, but the relationships that you're in, you should not be coming out of that relationship in a much worse place emotionally, physically, mentally. A relationship should not break you down to that point. We have to get to a point to where we have to learn our boundaries, and when somebody crosses our boundaries, somebody doesn't meet our standards, we have to walk away. Now, again, I stayed a long time in that marriage, but I wasn't mentally beaten down, downtrodden the whole time in that 12 years. I will tell you, I got my mojo back, and I was like, F him, F this. I tried to leave the marriage a couple times, but he's like, no, 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 wait. But wait, there's more. Oh, there's more abuse. There's more mental abuse. So if you watch my last video or a video before that, when I talk about when I left, I left. I left. People may think, damn, she left because no, I left. I was like, you know what? Because you get to a point where you say, you know what? I'm not going to tolerate this mess anymore. I'm out. I remember the lessons that my parents have taught me. I remember who I was. I remembered that I have standards, that I love myself, that I can't allow myself to be treated any old kind of way just to say that I have a man. And eventually, baby girl, I hope you get to that point to where you realize, you know what? You don't deserve to be treated any old kind of way just to say you have a man. There's so many single women out here living their lives and loving their lives. Being in a relationship does not define who you are. It doesn't. Somebody with a badge of honor say, well, we were married 25 years, but we're all 25 years happy. There's a lot of people out here who are in marriages and they are miserable. They are miserable and they need my services. Okay, let's just start there. But there are a lot of people out here that just are staying in it because of the longevity. Well, we've been together 25 years. There's people doing prison sentences, 25 years. Is prison happy? Are they happy? Are they excited to be in prison? If this is the first time to my channel, y'all, I am Vee Mindful. I'm a relationship coach and published author. And here on this channel, y'all, we talk about everything related to relationships. And that's communication issues, masculine and feminine energy imbalance, especially the masculine woman. Y'all hear me roar? I get you. Y'all in the right place. As well as attachment style issues, whether you're anxious, avoidant, I'm a former avoidant, or how to become more secure. I am back to being secure. And I was right. Like I said, I was raised as secure. And so it is highly possible, whatever your attachment style is. And if you're trying to get to secure, it is absolutely possible, but you have to put in the work. If any of the things that I'm sharing today are resonating with you and you feel like you need additional emotional support, please look in the description below. I do offer one-on-one coaching, and I am here to support you or anyone else who needs the support. The V today is definitely not the V that you would have met 20 years ago. My independence used to be so strong, my masculinity, and I still have issues with that. And I can sit here and be honest. I still have issues with having an avoidant attachment style. The thing is, you learn how to become better. Ultimately, what you're learning is how to manage your emotional triggers. That is what coaching does. Let's commit to making better choices and decisions today. Y'all love on yourself a little bit more today. Until next week, y'all take care of yourselves.